In this video, I'll be attempting to survive 100 days on this island in hardcore Minecraft. Without leaving the island, I'm going to have an extremely limited amount of resources at my disposal, but despite this limitation, my goal is to completely transform the island with tons of cozy builds. Kicking it off on day 1, and this island is pretty sandy, but there is a bunch of spruce trees over there, which is pretty awesome. I also just spotted a little bit of sugarcane right here, so I will definitely pick that up. I am so happy that there are spruce trees on this island, but you know what, let's go ahead and punch down our first tree. And now that we have some wood, you'll never guess we're gonna make a crafting table. We can place that down, and then let's make our very first wooden pickaxe. And I found a bit of I don't know if it's a cave entrance, but anyways, there's a bit of exposed stone, so let's mine some of this up. Cobblestone has been obtained, so let's make a pickaxe, an axe, a shovel, and we'll also make what is this called? Dude, okay, this video's already cooked. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but this is a stone sword. Awesome. Now that we have some tools, let's take a look around, and hey, look, there's some cows over here. That's really awesome. Not gonna kill these guys though, so that we can breed them and set up a farm later. There's also some sweet berries, so maybe we just use these as our starter game food source. Anything else cool on this island? I guess we have some turtles, that's pretty fun. More cows, very awesome. No way, is that a mushroom on a log? We just got the best seed in the entire game, let's go. Okay, jokes aside, I cannot find a single sheep on this island, which kinda sucks as I don't know how we're gonna get through the first night. Yeah, okay, it's already getting so dark out. You know what? I think we just need to dig underground and stay under here for the night. Not really much else that we can do. Hopefully we can find at least a little bit of coal or iron while we're down here. That'd be pretty nice. Okay, just bumped into some copper. I'll take it. Not exactly what I'm looking for, but alright. No way, I think I just ran into a geode. This is super cool. This is awesome though. We could definitely use this calcite and the smooth basalt to build a starter house. That'd be pretty fun. Looks like there's some zombies in the geode. Let's see if we can take these guys out. Get out of here, zombies. Still haven't found any coal or iron, but there's a bit of copper, so I guess I'll pick that up. Of course, it's like some underground cave. There's a bit of lapis. I don't know if you can mine this with a stone pickaxe though. Let's see. Oh, you can. Okay, let's not drown, get me out of here. More copper, I guess I'll take it. All of this is underwater. I guess it kind of makes sense. We're like right under an island, but let's make a door. We can maybe use that to breathe under the water. Finally spotted some coal in one of the underwater caves, and using the door trick, we can breathe underwater and mine it up. It's already day 2, so I want to go back up to the surface and see if we can maybe find some spiders so we can get string to hopefully make a bed. And there's not a single spider. Great. Anyway, let's keep preparing for day 2, and I just spotted some more sugarcane, so let's just harvest that and maybe replant it along the water edge to get a bit of a farm going. Okay, since we don't have access to a bed, it's going to be essential to get a bit of a starter house going or some type of bunker, so let's cut down more trees so we can make one. Okay, by looking at the sun, it's already about midday, which means we have like 5 minutes until it's dark. Let's see if we can speedrun and make a house super quick. So maybe let's just start off with some pillars, maybe, I don't know, like 5 blocks tall, and then we can just strip those. And then let's skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, and then we'll do another pillar right here. And then we'll do one more pillar, just like so. And we don't really have a whole lot of blocks to work with at the moment, so let's just use some cobblestone. Okay, we gotta be super quick. Let's fill in this wall as well. And of course, I ran out of cobblestone, so maybe let's just use some of this calcite and diorite for the front wall, you know, why not? The sun is already getting so low, we gotta be fast. Okay, maybe let's make some stairs, sure. And then we can go stair, stair, and then we'll do a double door just like so. Okay, that's looking not too bad. Okay, let's make a bunch of these spruce planks into stairs, and I'll also make some slabs. Okay, using these spruce stairs, let's see if we can do a super quick roof before it gets too dark. Maybe just use some slabs going up to the middle, and then we'll repeat the exact same thing on this side. Whoops, already misplacing stuff. Oh my goodness, it is already so dark and we are not done yet. Let me see if I can get this in before stuff starts spawning at least. Oh man, a bunch of mobs have already spawned, but I think we're safe up here. They shouldn't be able to get us. No way, there's a zombie in our house, get out! Okay, our roof is done, but I think there's a zombie inside. Oh no. I forgot to close my doors. Oh my goodness, there's a zombie in our house. Get out, get out, get out, get out. Get out. Oh, okay, I think we're good. Let's make some torches so we can light this up a little bit. Alrighty, let's place down a few torches in here. Not much of a house right now, but it's better than nothing. I hear so many zombies outside right now. This is so scary. Just trying to patch up the interior a little bit. I don't have any more cobblestone, so I guess we'll just use smooth basalt. And let's also get in a little bit of a floor, and I think we can just use more spruce wood. You know, it definitely needs some windows, but for a house built on day 2, it's honestly not that bad. Oh my goodness, why did I do that? Oh my goodness, I just let them in here. Why are they leaving though? Oh, that scared me so bad. Oh, okay, I think we're fine. Any zombies? Oh my goodness. Okay, I closed the door. We're good. Maybe I can do a little bit of a hole here. And there's so many zombies out here, but at least we're getting some early game XP. I'll take it. Okay, this is super dangerous. I have no armor and barely any food right now, but maybe let's see if we can find some spiders. I really want some string. And let's also grab some more sweet berries. Oh man, there's a spider over there, but it's being guarded by 2 skeletons. Are you kidding me? Oh, there's a couple spiders here we can probably get. Come here, spiders. Come on. Come over here. Okay, I'm fine. Come on, drop some string. Drop some string. No string, are you kidding me? Cover it. This is the most scuffed start to any 100-day challenge I've ever done. What is going on right now? Oh, we got some string. Is there anything else out there? Come on, just let me grab this string. Okay, grab the string, get back in. Okay. Oh, all that for 2 pieces of string? I guess it is what it is. Get out of here. Oh, we got some armor. Sweet, we just got a leather cap. I'll definitely take that. Ah, more zombies. Okay, it's finally the morning, and I think most of the mobs have died off, so let's finally fix these doors. And now that it's daytime, you can get a little bit of a better view of this house. It's not the best thing I've ever built, but you know, for a couple of days, not too terrible. Now that I'm looking at it a bit better though, we can probably swap these for upside down stairs. I think that'll look a little bit better. And I also want to fix it up a little bit more with some cobblestone, so let's grab some of this up. And I just bumped into more coal too. That is absolutely awesome. Okay, I got more cobblestone, so let's place down our crafting table and make a furnace. And then we can go ahead, place that down, and then let's start smelting up all of this copper. And while that's smelting, I want to add a small chimney to the side of the house. So maybe let's do a couple of granite blocks like that, and then maybe a stair right here. And then we can probably raise that up to probably here is good. And then on top of that, let's do a campfire surrounded by trapdoors. And then to finish it off, let's do a wall right on top. And yeah, there we go, a nice little chimney on the side of our house. I like that. Okay, finally enough copper is done smelting, so let's turn this into, what do I need? A block of copper, and then we can turn this into some grates. And then I'm thinking we just punch out a hole right here for a window, and probably another one like right here would look good. You know what? Let's actually make that too tall. I think that'll look a little bit better. And as you can see, it is already dark out again, so let's try to kill some more spiders and get more string. Get out of here, spider. Drop some string. A spider eye? I don't want a spider eye. Give me some string. 2 more spiders there, but there's also a zombie and a creeper. This is so scary. Okay, come on, blow up. Oh! Okay, this is fine. Get out of here. Okay, let me get out. Get me out. Oh, there's a creeper right there. I've healed up. Come on, spider, get over here. Okay, we got 2 spiders. I'm trying to lure them over, and then I'll kill them from inside of the house. Die. Oh yes, more string. We got 4 string, come on. Any more from you? Doesn't look like it. I'm all out of food, so I guess we're resorting to rotten flesh. Finally, we have 4 string, so we can make our very first wool block. This for sure has to be the most effort I've ever gone through to get a wool block, and the sad thing is we still need 2 more to make a bed. But you know what? Progress is progress. I'm a little scared to go outside without a proper food source, so maybe let's just keep working on the interior. I think the ceiling would look a little bit more interesting with a beam kind of going all the way across, just like so. My inventory is kind of a disaster, so let's place down a couple of chests and unload some of these items. It's finally the morning of day 4, and our house is slowly shaping up, but you know what? I think we need to get started on getting a bit of a better food source. So maybe let's grab a couple of sticks as well as a couple blocks of cobblestone, and I'll also take these wheat seeds. And you might have already guessed, but let's use these sticks as well as the cobblestone to make a hoe. Wow, there's barely like any grass on this entire island. It's all just ferns. This is so annoying. I want to get some seeds. A bit more grass right here. Please drop a seed. No, of course not. Come on, this has to drop a seed. Let's go. 2 seeds. Pop off. I'm not even kidding, I think I broke every single piece of grass on the island and only got 2 wheat seeds, but oh well, what are you gonna do? Let's just go ahead and set this up and plant down the 2 wheat seeds that we do have. Also, it looks like our sugarcane grew, so let's cut this all down and replant it to expand the farm. And let's grab some more of these sweet berries. This food source kinda sucks, but I guess it's better than the rotten flesh. I just had a 2000 IQ idea. Let's kill some of these salmon in the water. That'll be a way better food source. Come on, quit swimming away. Oh, I'm gonna drown. Okay, we're good. I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. This is gonna be a way better food source. The sun is already setting again, but I managed to get, what is this, 4 salmon and 15 cod, and I also got a couple of bone meal, which is kind of interesting. Didn't know you could get that from killing fish. Anyway, before too many bad guys start spawning, let's head inside and start cooking up some of this salmon. Finally, we have a better food source. This is kind of sketchy, but I want to see if I can lure some of these spiders over. Oh, okay, we gotta get out of here. Get me back inside. Oh my goodness, get me back. Okay, we got a couple more spiders over here. This is perfect. Come on, drop some string, please. Yes, more string. Please drop some string. Yes, more string. That is awesome. Let's go. But of course, it's being guarded by the skeleton. Kind of annoying. Okay, let's quickly grab the string and go back inside. Quickly. Sweet, we just got 3 more string. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but that is huge. Okay, there's 2 more spiders over here. Let's very carefully try to lure some of these over. Come on. Oh, okay, don't get too close though. That's right, follow me. We're getting stuck to the ceiling, but hopefully we can take them out. Yes, more string. This guy too, come on, get out of here. Okay, no string, but I'll take it. Another night has been survived, and we got 4 more string, so you know what that means, another block of wool. And let's just add it to our collection, why not? Of course it's raining now, but I had a couple ideas to spice up our house a little bit, the first of which just being adding some barrels at the bottom of these pillars. And then on the side of the house, I was thinking we could do a row of trapdoors, just like so. And let's also do the exact same thing on the other side as well. And then I was thinking we could add just a tiny bit of the smooth basalt to the walls, just for a tiny bit of texture variation. Maybe do a bit right there and right there. Pretty subtle, but it does add just a little something. And then I just wanted to swap out these diorite stairs with some cobblestone ones, as I think it'll look a little bit more in place. Yeah, that's looking better, and I also want to turn this into an arched doorway, so let's do a couple stairs like that, a couple trapdoors, and then put our regular doors back. It's a pretty subtle and minor change, but I think it does help. And then something else I was just thinking we could do is add some trapdoors here, just for a bit of like a more detailed trim to the roof. So let's also go ahead and do the exact same thing at the back of the house too. And maybe on the side of the house, we just add a couple trapdoors to look like a bit of a shutter. A little hard to see because of the rain, but I'm feeling pretty happy with how our starter house is looking now. And the sun is already setting again, so hopefully we can get the last of the string that we need tonight. Come on, spider, drop some string. I'm tired of not having a bed. Yes, more string, let's go. Come on, drop some string. No, a spider eye. Oh my goodness, phantoms. No! Get me out. Oh, there's so many skeletons too. Get me out. Oh, that was close. I low-key kind of forgot that phantoms exist. I always just sleep through the night, so I barely run into them. There's another spider. Yes, more string. 2 more string. We just need 1 more string. Come on, we can do it. I believe. Just need 1 more string. Come on, spider. Ow. Yes, 4 string. Oh man, I'm so happy. Let's go, we even got some extra string, 6 string, let's go. Finally, we can go ahead and craft our 3rd and final piece of wool. That took so incredibly long, but we now have enough to make a bed. But now that we finally have the wool, let's not waste any time and finally craft our bed. And the awesome thing is we have 2 extra strings, so we can make a fishing rod later if we want to. I'm not really vibing with the plain white bed though. Do I have any way I can make some dye? I guess we can use some lapis that we found earlier in the cave, so let's turn that into blue dye, and then we can go ahead and dye our bed blue. And I think this corner of the house will be the perfect location for our bedroom. Seriously though, I think this is the most work that I've ever done to get a bed inside of this game, but you know what? I'm so glad that we finally have one now. Anyway, I still have a bit of spruce logs, so let's turn those into planks, maybe we just do like that, make some sticks, and then we'll make a bunch of fences, as well as a couple of fence gates. And I definitely want to build a proper kind of like barn or something on the island, but for now, let's just set up a temporary animal pen. Okay, yeah, that's looking pretty good. Let's maybe just do a torch in all 4 corners, just like so, boop, and then we'll do gate, and there we go, animal pen. Also, looks like our sugarcane has grown up once again, so let's harvest this all. And let's just go ahead and expand this once more, you know, might as well, super easy to do along the edge of the water. And by the looks of it, at least one of our pieces of wheat grew, so let's harvest that and plant down these seeds. And I want to lure some cows over to the pen, but it's already getting dark. Oh my goodness, the phantom scared me so bad, but oh, why did that scare me? Okay, let's go to bed, and hopefully we don't have to deal with the phantoms anymore. Okay, but now that we have some wheat, let's lure some of these cows over. Come on in, Mr. Cow, welcome to your new home. I found 3 more cows, so let's bring these guys over as well. And there we go, we got 4 cows in our animal pen. That is super awesome. We're making great progress, but we definitely need to get some iron soon. And you know what, instead of just, you know, kind of digging down and finding some or locating a cave, I think it'd be fun to make a quarry. It's something I've been wanting to do for a really long time, and I think this area beside our house could be the perfect location. It took me a few days and definitely had me questioning why I decided to do this with stone tools, but in the end I got a pretty decent sized hole dug out for our quarry. It still needs a lot of details, but here's what it's looking like right now, and there's kind of 2 different levels. I did a staircase down to kind of this level, and then another smaller staircase down to where I found all of these ores. The next thing I want to do is patch up all of the kind of like sand as well as, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like the dirt areas, so I smelted a bunch of cobblestone into stone. Also, while we're in our house, let's grab maybe some of these spruce items, that could be pretty handy, and maybe some of this dirt just in case. Also, if you're curious how many blocks I got from digging, we got all this sand as well as all this cobblestone. And while we're in our starter house, let's turn some of these logs into planks, and maybe we'll just make like a bunch of trapdoors and maybe a bunch of slabs as well. And I wish I had some iron to make a stone cutter, but for now I guess we'll just have to use our regular crafting table to make some stone stairs. Alrighty, so using these stone stairs, I want to make a bit of a proper staircase going all the way down to this first level. Something just like that, so we can easily come down, and then we have this section as well, so once again, let's just do some stairs going all the way down. And this bottom area kind of worked out perfectly where I ran into all these ores just on accident, so I didn't remove them and just left them here, so it looks like whoever is, you know, digging this quarry ran into these and is still working on digging them up. I did, however, bring a few blocks of raw copper with me, and maybe we just put them, I don't know, maybe one like right here and right here, and then let's do the last one, maybe over in here will look good. And then maybe over in this corner we do like a crafting table, and I actually want to use that right now to just make a couple of barrels. And then maybe we do like barrel, as well as maybe just like a couple of slabs, just like, yeah, just like that I think looks nice. And then maybe we add just a little bit more texture variation using some of this cobblestone. I think that'll look pretty good. You know what, I think this copper has to go. It's kind of right in the way of the staircase. It's kind of bothering me, so yeah, I think that's a little bit more open, a little easier to walk around and see what's going on. Maybe we just use a few of these cobblestone slabs to maybe make like a pile of stones here, maybe another one right there, sure. I'm pretty happy with how this bottom layer is looking, and then just to make it a bit safer, I think we should do a fence going all the way around this. Get the last few in right there, and yeah, I think that's looking a bit better, quite a bit safer as well. And then I think all of this sandstone as well as sand looks pretty bad, to be honest, so that's why I smelted all of that stone so we can patch it up. Okay, so the sand should be all removed, so let's fill this back in with stone, and I'm also just mixing in a little bit of cobblestone to make it a bit more interesting. Let's also get rid of this sandstone right here beside the staircase. I'm not really liking how this is looking. Patch it back in with our stone, maybe do a bit of cobblestone right here, right there, and just fill the rest in with stone should be good. It's all patched up and looking way better, but I think if we mix in some more of the cobblestone kind of around the rest of the area, it'll look a lot more in place. I'm trying not to go overboard, but I think something just like that is pretty good, you know, just a bit of cobblestone mixed in to help break up all of the stone. We can maybe even help break up the stone a little bit more by maybe removing a few blocks here and filling those back in with some regular dirt. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think I like that. Maybe let's add a little bit on this side as well, you know, might as well. Something else we definitely need is some lighting, so just adding a few torches kind of going around this fence. Let's also add some at the very bottom, maybe one right there and maybe right there, that should be good. And I know we already have staircases, but it might look cool if we add a few ladders around just to, you know, add a bit more detail. So maybe higher up, let's add a ladder as well. Maybe right here, just going all the way up to the very top. Yeah, I think I like that. It kind of helps break up the flat wall. Let's add a fence around this higher area as well. I mean, this is the one that we really don't want to fall off of. That's a far ways down. Much safer. Let's also just add a few torches going all the way around. Of course it's raining now, but I think our quarry is looking pretty good. There's just one more thing that I want to add right out here, and that's a crane, but I think these trees are going to be a little bit in the way, so let's chop these down. The trees are cleared, and I marked out a spot where I want to build this thing, so let's just start off with a spruce plank, and then we'll surround that with trapdoors. And then right on top, we'll do a barrel, and then I want to do some stripped logs on top, so let's go 1, 2, and 3, and then on top of that, we'll do another trapdoor. Back down at the bottom, let's go slab, slab. We can break this one, and then put the slab back right there. And then we'll go slab here, and then I need to get up a little bit higher and do another slab right there. That's kind of meant to be like the counterweight, and then on this side we'll have the actual arm of the crane. So let's go slab here, get ourselves a little bit higher, and then we'll do another slab right here. And then let's go slab, slab, and don't need that one, can just remove it. This part might be a little bit tricky, but let's do a grindstone and then 2 fences below that. And then let's just finish it off with a slab right here, and then we'll do trapdoor and trapdoor. Definitely not the biggest or most detailed crane ever, but given the limited materials we have, I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm pretty happy in general just with how our entire kind of quarry turned out. It's maybe a little bit on the basic side, but we can always add more details as we continue to gather more resources. There is just one more thing that I want to add to our quarry though, and that's a staircase going all the way down to deep slate levels, so we can start hopefully gathering up some iron as well as diamonds and all of that good stuff. Oh, iron! Are you kidding me? Dude, the video is actually just like... the video is like scripting itself right now. This is awesome. That was actually so crazy, we totally just spoke that iron into existence. And you know what? Our staircase can wait. I just want to go right ahead and start smelting up this iron. And while we wait for it to smelt, it looks like some of our wheat has grown. I've kind of been expanding this in the background, but we got a decent amount now. And we should probably start expanding this as well. Maybe let's just do like 3 more rows of dirt, just like that. Grab our hoe and go ahead and till this all as well. And then expand this by planting our wheat seeds back down. And now that we have some wheat, let's finally go ahead and breed the cows. Top tier content breeding the cows, I know, but look at these baby ones with their little horns. That is so awesome. And while we're doing our chores, we might as well just gather up all of the sugarcane, you know, why not? I'm not going to bother expanding it though this time. I think that'll be a little bit overkill. And unfortunately, I'm kind of back to eating sweet berries at the moment, so let's gather a few of these up too. I just had an idea. Let's plant a few sweet berries in front of the house. I think that'll add a nice little pop of color. I can't believe it's taken 16 days, but we finally have some iron. And let's use that to make a shield as well as an iron pickaxe. And then let's turn the last 3 into a bucket. Grab some water with our bucket, that is always handy, and let's go back down into our quarry and continue digging. I'm trying to get down to deep slate levels, but I would also love to run into a cave and, you know, hopefully find some diamonds and more iron and whatnot. That would be so awesome. And I just spoke that into existence. We have a cave right down there. Unfortunately, it's kind of guarded by a creeper right now. You know what? We have a shield. Let's just throw that on and jump down. Wait, where did the creeper go? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, it seems safe for right now. Oh my goodness, it's not safe, it's not safe. Oh man, there's so many skeletons over here too. Oh, and a creeper. Oh my goodness, this could be bad. Blow up, creeper. Creeper, blow up. Creeper, blow up. Creeper, blow up. Creeper! Oh my goodness. Get out. Oh man, I don't know if my heart can take this. This is too much. Man, I have like no armor right now and I'm surviving off of sweet berries. This is so scuffed, but you know what? There's more iron, so let's mine it up. There's diamonds over there, but it's being guarded by this zombie right now. Get out of here, guy. Get out of here, Mr. Zombie. Oh, he dropped a carrot. Nice. Just got a carrot from that zombie. That is super awesome. New crop unlocked. But even better than that, we have our first diamonds. Let's go. Is it just one though? Come on. It's maybe a little bit hard to see, but there's some diamonds over there as well. Let's try to make our way over. Why am I caving with no armor right now? This is so dumb. Oh my goodness. Blocks. I need blocks. Give me blocks. No! What's hitting me? No! Please. Please. I'm scared. No, 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 no. No! Get out, get out, get out. Oh. 2.5 hearts, 2.5 hearts. No! No! No, please, not like this. Not like this! No! Get me out, get me out, get me out. Oh, there's diamonds there. Get me out, get me out, get me out! Get me out. Box myself in, box myself in. Oh. Dude, my heart is racing right now. And you know what? My shield is about to break, so let's make a furnace and smelt up some of this iron so we can make a new one. Okay, the iron is done smelting, so let's go ahead, turn some of this into planks and make ourselves a brand new shield. And then since we still have 2 iron, let's make a better sword. Okay, where'd the zombie go? Okay, zombie's over here. Come over here, guy. Get out of here, zombie. Get out. Okay, let's try to be sneaky. Let's just place down a torch right here and mine up these diamonds. Looks like it was only the 1 diamond, but oh well. What are you gonna do? Why is there so many zombies? Please leave me alone. I just spotted a couple more diamonds. Let's go. This is awesome. And finally, this one is more than just, you know, 1 diamond. Whoa, there's some water back there. Okay. Okay, we're now up to 5 diamonds in total. And you know what? I only have 9 sweet berries left, so I think we got to go back up to the surface. Might be easier said than done though. There are so many mobs down here. I was trying to leave, but I just bumped into a few more diamonds, so I guess I'll take them, you know? Why not? Let's get out of here though. I really hope nothing pushes me off the edge. Alright, I found where we came down, finally. That was one of the scariest mining adventures of my life. And I did bring a bunch of cobblestone stairs with me, so let's just place these down as we go back up so we can easily come down in the future. Staircase is all in place, and it's super awesome that we now know where a cave is, but I think we need to gear up a little bit more before we take that on again, because that was pretty sketchy. At least from that adventure, we got 10 diamonds and a carrot, a little bit of a weird combo, but you know what? It'll come in handy, so I'm pretty happy with that. And since we do have some diamonds, I think we should just go ahead and make a diamond pickaxe. And I think I'll just hold on to the rest of them for right now until I decide what I want to do with them. But while we're in crafting mode, I did want to use the rest of our string to make a fishing rod, as I think it could be a really good way to get a lot of useful items. Also, it looks like our wheat has grown again, so let's quickly harvest this up. And we got back enough seeds to expand the farm once again, which is super awesome. And you know what? Since we got it, we might as well plant this carrot as well. But now that we have a little bit of wheat, come over here, cows, it's time to get bread again. And the sun is kind of already starting to set on this beautiful day 18, but let's maybe just spend the rest of the day doing some fishing and see what we get. Fish number 1, just some cod, I'll take it. I only ended up getting, 3 cod and 1 puffer fish before it got way too dark out, but you know what, I'll take all the food I can get. That low-key got me in the fishing mood though, so I decided to spend the entirety of day 19 fishing as well. I ended up getting a bunch of fish, a bow with essentially 0 durability, some other random stuff, and an enchanted book with fire aspect 1 and protection 3. I began the following day by crafting a couple of smokers, and then I started cooking up all of the fish we caught. And honestly, I felt like I needed even more fish, so I just brute forced it again and hunted some down in the ocean. Maybe not quite as chill as fishing normally, but it's definitely faster. I started smelting our newly obtained haul of fish inside of the house, and while waiting, I harvested the wheat farm again, and you'll never guess, bred the cows. And smokers are super quick, so the rest of the fish were already done cooking at this point. And I had some time to think about what to do with our remaining 7 diamonds, and what I decided on was to make a pair of boots, a sword, and a shovel. But now that we have some proper food and slightly better gear, I think it's time to take on the caves again. Kinda scared after getting down to half a heart last time, but it has to be done if we want to continue progressing on the island. And after taking out a few mobs, I began collecting all the iron I could get my hands on. I also spotted several diamond veins under the water, so using the 2000 IQ door trick, I mined them up, as well as any other useful ores that I came across. And the really nice thing about mining under the water is that there aren't any mobs trying to kill me for once. But after I mined everything that was under the water, I continued exploring the regular caves where I came across even more diamonds. I got so many in fact that I took a little pit stop to craft myself a helmet and a chest plate. Feeling a bit safer, I continued my journey, venturing deeper into the cave on the hunt for even more diamonds. And once I found more, I crafted some leggings, and that means we finally have a full set of diamond armor. I probably got a little overconfident though, because I decided to take on a witch, nearly resulting in my death as her poison got me down to just half a heart again. But did I take this as my sign to go back up to the surface? No shot. With maybe slightly shaky hands, I continued mining like nothing ever happened. I'm glad I did though, since I found even more diamonds, iron, and one of the zombies I killed even dropped a potato, which means we now have access to yet another crop. The main thing I was in need of at this point was iron, so I ran around and mined as much as I could. And I even stumbled upon another large underwater section that had so much iron, but I am definitely not complaining. While I was down here, I also grabbed a few stacks of tough blocks as well as deep slate that we can use for building later. And just when I was getting ready to head back up to the surface, I came across a lush cave. I didn't have much room in my inventory, but I grabbed some moss blocks and azaleas to bring back with me, as well as some clay that we can smelt into bricks. Something else I figured we should grab while we were down here was obsidian, so I mined enough for both an enchanting table and a nether portal. And I also grabbed a bucket of lava that we can use for smelting later. Anyway, just one last thing I grabbed on my way back up was some coal, which once again I found in one of the underwater caves. But with that in hand, I finally made my way back to the surface. That was close to 10 days of mining, but we have so many useful resources now. I started smelting the iron using the lava we collected, then crafted a new axe to finally complete our shiny blue diamond tool set. And it looks like our crops fully grew while we were mining, so I harvested everything, and then that's right, I bred the cows again. I am kind of getting bored though of breeding the cows in this boring old pen, so the next thing I want to get started on is building a barn over in this area. However, there's one kind of, obvious issue right now. There are a bunch of trees in the way, so let's chop these down. Also, I cannot believe that it is day 30, I feel like we just started this challenge. And I still want to fully transform the island, which means we have a ton of work to do and a ton of building, which should be super fun. I maybe got just a little bit carried away and cut down every tree, just a bit of deforestation. But check out how many logs we have for building now, this is super awesome. And don't worry, we'll definitely plant more trees back down later. I just kind of wanted to see the area that we're working with a little bit better. And you know what? These sweet berries really helped out in the early game, but I just keep running into them, so I think let's get rid of them for now. But now that we have the space cleared out, let's maybe kind of plan out where we want this. I'm thinking we just start off with a bunch of pillars, maybe do a 4-block gap there, and then right here I'm thinking probably 5, and then another 4. I went ahead and got the rest of the pillars in. I think this is going to be a pretty good size for our barn, not too small, but also not too big. The only issue is that this hill is a little bit in the way, so I'm just going to lower this by probably like 2 or 3 blocks, and then it should be good. That only took a few minutes, and the area is all flattened out, but next up, let's get all these pillars kind of fixed up and connecting all the way to the ground. And let's also raise up these other ones that are kind of closer to the ground already. That's looking way better, but I think we can take it even one step further by stripping all of these. Pillars have all been stripped, so let's go grab some more materials that we can use to build up the actual walls. Okay, swinging by our starter house, I know I'm definitely going to want to use some glass, for windows, so let's grab some sand we can smelt, and I also want a stone cutter, so let's grab some cobblestone, and then we can put the sand in one of our furnaces, and the cobblestone in another one. But you know what, while we're waiting for that all to smelt, let's just harvest some of this wheat, and that's right, come over here cows, it's time to be bred again. The sand is still smelting, but at least we have some stone now. Wait a minute, I'm an idiot, aren't I? I had stone in here the whole time. Whatever. Anyway, let's grab some of this. Well, I just need 1 iron ingot, and then we can use that to make a stone cutter. And then let's maybe just place that on top of our crafting table, and then I want to grab some of these moss blocks as well as a bunch of this cobblestone and the tuff that we got as well. Okay, using that moss, let's make a stack of mossy cobblestone, and then using our brand new stone cutter, let's turn maybe half of that into walls. And then let's also make a decent amount of tough walls, and I'll make a bunch of regular cobblestone walls as well. And sweet, our glass is done smelting, so let's grab that, and then I want to turn some into glass panes. And then my idea is to do like a row of tough blocks at the bottom, and then we'll probably do like walls on the side just like that, and then probably a nice big window right at the front. Something like that isn't bad. I'm thinking we can maybe even get rid of these ones and turn those into walls as well. That might actually look pretty decent. Let me get rid of that one real quick and let's see. Yeah, once we add the roof, I think that'll look all right. I repeated the same design on the other side, and right here in the middle, I kind of want to do like an arched doorway. So I'm thinking we come up probably up to here, and then let's go all the way over to the other side. And then let's get that connected up all the way down to the ground. And then in the corners, let's do upside down stair, and a slab. I think that's looking pretty good. Nice little arched entryway. And then right here, I want to do like a door that looks like it's kind of like open, you know, like a barn door, of course, for, you know, a barn. So we'll have that one kind of covering like half the entrance, and then this one will face this way. I think I really like that. Looks like the door is kind of like propped open, so we can easily come inside the barn. Anyway, let's continue with the walls, and on the sides, I'm thinking we just keep it super simple and use our walls going all the way down. It's a little bit basic, I'll be honest, but we can make it a little bit more interesting by mixing in some of the mossy cobblestone walls as well as tough walls. It'll really go a long way in just adding a bit of texture variation. So maybe let's just add a couple of tough blocks right here, a couple more over here, why not? And we can also add texture variation at the front of the barn. I think that'll look really good. Pillagers, can't you see I'm trying to build? Get out of here. Get out of here, guy. I have full diamond armor. You can't touch me. I'll definitely use this banner to decorate the inside of our house though. Thank you very much. As you can see, I got the rest of the walls in just using the exact same kind of building technique, but there was just one more thing that I wanted to do at the front of the house, and that's swap out the bottom of these pillars with barrels just to look like some sort of strap or something going around the log. And next up, I want to get started on the roof, and I think I want to use diorite, but unfortunately I don't have like any at all, so it's time to go down into the quarry and gather some up. I'm not sure if there's any along our staircase. Let's take a look. Oh sweet, we might be in luck here. Awesome, there's some diorite. Let's mine this up. It's been a few minutes and I managed to get, how much is this? Close to 6 stacks of diorite. I think that should be enough. While we're down here though, I do want to see if we can maybe just grab a little bit more deep slate. I know we did mine some earlier, but I think we're going to need even more. Well, that pretty much killed the durability on our pickaxe, but with this, plus what we have in storage, we should have enough deep slate. And you know what, while we're here, I do have more diamonds, so let's just make a brand new pickaxe. But now that we have a new pickaxe and all the deep slate and diorite that we should need, let's go ahead and build up this roof. It took a decent amount of experimentation and time to get the shape right, but I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. And in a few spots, I was even able to mix in some calcite into the white trim for a bit more variety. I'll be the first to admit that this build is a little bit on the boxier side, but I really do like the entrance. I did, however, have just one idea to spice it up a little bit, so let's grab some of these spruce leaves. And it's going to be a super subtle change, but I think if we add a few leaves in front of both of these windows, it'll just add a tiny pop of greenery, which I think it really needs. And I think with that, I'm finally happy with the exterior, so let's get started on the inside. The first thing I want to do is, build some animal pens for the cows, so let's just do some fences going all the way across. That's looking pretty decent. Let's maybe just do a large gate on either side, so we'll do 3 gates just like that. And then we can repeat the exact same thing on this side, destroy these 3 fences, and place down some gates. And I did bring some lanterns with me, so let's do one right there, and then if we come over to here, we can probably do one right there as well. And then let's repeat the exact same thing on this side, boop, and another one right here, boop. And then I guess that means we can get rid of these temporary torches, should look a little bit better. And I'm honestly fine with keeping the interior super simple, but maybe let's just do a barrel here, a crafting table, and a chest for a bit of storage. And then above that, let's do a simple shelf using spruce trapdoors, do a few flower pots on top, and I don't really have any flowers, so let's just use some spruce saplings. And straight up, I think I'm happy with the interior just like this. Pretty simple, but nice and open for the cows. And speaking of the cows, we need to bring them over, so let's just grab a piece of wheat. And then if we put that in our offhand, we should be able to just break this. Oh my goodness, there's so many cows. Come on, cows, follow me. I did not realize it was going to be this many cows. I think we're losing a bunch, but we can maybe just do, a second batch. Come on, cows. They're kind of getting stuck on the door a little bit. That's kind of annoying. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Come on, cows, get in here, please. Oh man, the cows are just spreading out across the entire island. Come on guys, get inside the barn. That was like a million times harder than I thought it'd be, but I think I got every single cow inside of the barn now. Had to spread them out onto both sides, but you know, I think that's fine. We only really have one animal on this island anyways. But now that all the cows are moved over, we can finally get rid of their old pen. This thing is, you know, a bit of an eyesore, so we can finally get rid of it. And I haven't gone fishing in a while, so I'm kind of down to my last 2 sweet berries right now, so I think let's get all of this wheat and then we can breed the cows again. Come on cows, you know what time it is. Time to get bred. Can't forget about this side too. Come over here guys. Feel kind of bad about this, but we really need some food as well as leather, so sorry adults, it's time for you to go. It's always a little depressing just seeing the babies left, but at least we got enough leather to make a level 30 enchanting setup later. But at this very moment, I think I'm probably more excited about the steak, so let's grab some of this coal and start cooking up all of this. Oh man, I'm so tired of eating fish and sweet berries and stuff. This is gonna be so nice. I was just thinking, since we finally have some lanterns, let's place one on the ceiling inside of our house and finally get rid of these torches. And you know what, I think our temporary sugarcane farm has kind of served its purpose for right now. Whoops, missed one, so let's get rid of this for now. But with that, we should have all the raw materials we need to make an enchanting table as well as some bookshelves, so let's do that right now. Okay, first things first, let's turn all of the sugarcane into paper, and then we can turn that into a bunch of books. And then let's maybe make our enchanting table first, just like that. And then the rest of these books we can turn into bookshelves. I'm super glad that we have these now. It's gonna be so nice, but the only problem is that we don't really have room inside of our starter house. No worries though, as that gives us an excuse to build yet another structure on our island, which I'm pretty pumped about, so let's get started on that right now. And one of the blocks I know I want to use is granite, so let's head down into our quarry once again and try to hunt some down. Awesome, there's just some right here, so let's gather some of this up. Okay, I got like 3.5 stacks, which should be plenty, so let's get out of here. And back at our starter house, let's use our stone cutter again to turn about half a stack of this into slabs. One of the other blocks we're going to need is bricks, and I went ahead a little bit earlier and smelted a bunch of the clay we got, so let's grab those. And then let's go back to our crafting table, turn a bunch of this, well, actually I'll just turn all of it into bricks. And then let's turn some of those bricks into slabs. Moving right along, I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to use some regular clay blocks as well as some of this calcite. And let's also take a little bit of this iron as well. And let's use the iron to make a couple of chains. And you already know I'm going to be using some tuff. It's one of my favorite blocks right now. I do, however, want to turn about half of this into, what are these called? Chiseled tuff bricks. I think that could be pretty fun to incorporate into our build. I'll also grab a bunch of this diorite. We have a ton left over from building our barn, so that's pretty convenient. And while we're in this chest, we might as well just grab a bunch of spruce. You already know I'm going to be using a ton of it. Before I get too carried away though, crafting a bunch of different spruce items, I do want to make a grindstone, and let me see if I can get this recipe right. I think it's a couple of planks and sticks, and then a slab? Yeah, perfect, grindstone. Okay, but let's get started on the spruce items now, and I do want to use a bunch of buttons. I think I'm going to need about 12. And then let's also make a decent amount of stairs, and I am going to need a bunch of slabs as well. And then I think the last thing I need is just a bunch of trapdoors. I think that should cover all the materials we need, and I was thinking up on the hill here could be the perfect location for this build, so you know what, let's get right to it. My idea for this one was to create a gazebo to contain our enchanting table. It's something a little bit different, but I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out, if I do say so myself. The gazebo itself is looking pretty sweet, really happy with how the texturing turned out on this one, but I was thinking we could add a light right in the center. Okay, I cannot reach that. Let's place a grindstone right in the middle, do a couple of chains, and then a lantern. That should work. And then with that taken care of, all we have to do is add our bookshelves going all the way around, just like so. And then we can place our enchanting table right in the middle. It's not the biggest build ever, but I love the atmosphere in here. Oh, it is so awesome. What's not so awesome though is that a pretty big chunk of the gazebo is straight up just floating, so let's place down some dirt and get this looking a bit better. Awesome, that only took really a minute or two and it looks so much better. And I have a bunch of levels, so let's finally use our enchanting table and upgrade our gear. Let's see, I wouldn't mind a feather falling enchant if we can get that. Fire protection, no, not really interested. How about this? Ooh, efficiency 4, that's pretty good. Before we lock that in, let's see if we can get something better on our shovel. Same thing. Okay, let's upgrade our pickaxe and let's see what we get. Only efficiency 4, not the best, but I'll take it. Okay, let's try our boots again. Can we get feather falling? Ooh, feather falling 3, I am definitely taking that. That is gonna be so nice. Okay, and we still have enough levels to enchant something, and I'm thinking we do our shovel as I'm planning to do a bunch of terraforming soon. So let's see, unbreaking 3, oh, okay. Really, just unbreaking 3? Alright, I'll take it. Not the craziest of enchants, to be honest, but this feather falling one will be really nice. I'm always falling off of stuff, so yeah, pretty handy to have. I was just walking by our quarry, and these torches are so ugly. Let's get rid of these and finally replace them with some lanterns. Simple change, but that is so much better. Something else I'm kind of getting tired of looking at are these old temporary crop farms, so let's finally get rid of this. Also, I think this turtle has been stuck here for like 20 days or something at this point, so turtle, do you need a little push out? There you go, buddy. And then let's get rid of this dirt as well, and we can replace it with sand. And I'll just use sandstone for these areas, just so it doesn't fall down. I also just had an idea of something that could look pretty cool, so in our starter house, I'm smelting up some sandstone, and then let's turn this all into slabs. And then if we surround this kind of like hump of sand with a bunch of these slabs, I think it'll go a really long way in smoothing it out and making it look a lot more natural. I ran out of slabs, so I'll have to wait for more of the sandstone to smelt, but I think something like that looks really cool. And while we're waiting for the rest of the sandstone to smelt, let's maybe build a few boulders, maybe something like that, and we'll do maybe a couple more right here, and then a few more slabs just like that. Just a small little boulder, but it does go a long way in just making the area look a little bit more interesting. Using that same building technique, I built 4 more boulders around the island to spice it up even more. I really like these boulders though, just kind of creates like a rocky atmosphere right on the beach, which is super sweet. Still gotta get the rest of the slabs in there, but as you can see, the sun is setting on this day 50, and to celebrate making it to the halfway point in this challenge, let's go check in on my cats. If you've never seen one of my videos before, I use my 2 cats, Munchie and Mittens, to guilt trip all of you into liking the video. For real though, it goes such a long way in supporting these videos, so I greatly appreciate all of you taking a second to do it. Getting back to Minecraft, all of our smooth stone should be ready, which sweet it is, so let's turn all of this into some slabs. And then with that in hand, we should be able to get the rest of these slabs in. If this turtle will get out of the way, get out of here guy, please just let me place these slabs. Okay, this should be the last few right there, and nice, it's all smoothed out and looking good. But with that taken care of, I want to get started on building some docks. You know, can't have an island build without docks, so let's grab some fences, some planks, and then we'll turn all of these into slabs. Before we can get to building though, I just need to do a little bit of terraforming, mainly just lowering this kind of sandy hill by a couple of blocks, so let's get this done. It took an entire day, but I have this area looking pretty good now, so let's go ahead and build up the docks. I kept the dock itself pretty simple. We can definitely add more details later, but for now, just want to get the base shape in. And honestly, I liked this one so much that I built a second one kind of in front of the barn, but this time on a diagonal just to switch it up a bit. Oh man, this dock totally transformed this area, and the other nice thing is that the turtles really seem to enjoy it. And this other dock over here is also just such a vibe, super cozy, especially while the sun is setting. I want to keep working on filling out the rest of the island with builds, but the terrain is looking pretty wonky in some spots, so let's lock in and do some terraforming. And I also spent the next 5 days terraforming as well, mainly just trying to get the different areas smoothed out and looking good. And I would have kept going, but my shovel was about to break, so I used my very last diamond to craft a new one. I had 28 levels, so I did a slightly lower level enchant on it and got Fortune 3, Efficiency 5, and Unbreaking 3. I don't love Fortune on my shovels, but the rest of the enchants are pretty awesome, so I can't really complain too much. And with a way faster shovel in hand, I grinded out the rest of the terraforming. Took a lot longer than I thought it would, but checking out the before and after, it made such a huge difference. But now that the island is terraformed and looking good, I want to tackle this flat, open, sandy area next, and I was thinking it could be the perfect location for some farms. Gonna need a few materials to build it though, so let's head down into our quarry once again. And the first block we need is just some cobblestone, so I mean we can just gather this right here. And we don't really need like a crazy amount, I'll probably just grab like 2 or 3 stacks and that should be good. Cobblestone has been acquired, so I'm deeper, oh my goodness. Look at that, we got some diamonds. Hey, let's go. I was just doing my little soundbite there, but hey, nice, I'll take some diamonds, thank you. As I was trying to say, I got some cobblestone, but we're also going to need some tough blocks, so I'm just mining some up. No way, I just bumped into more diamonds. This is so awesome. I just came down here for tough and we got so many diamonds. Look how many this is. We got 11 diamonds. That is so awesome. Okay, but now that we have a bunch of cobblestone and tough blocks, let's start planning out a border that the farms can be inside of. Should be the last couple of blocks right here, and we now have a wall going all the way around that can contain the farms. However, having it all just one block like this is a little bit boring, so let's switch it up by adding some full blocks on top as well as some slabs. And I also brought some mossy cobblestone walls with me, so we can probably dot a few of these around as well. Alrighty, I think our wall is looking pretty good now, but unfortunately you can't, plant crops right on the sand, so we gotta remove this all and replace it with dirt. Also, I'll be honest, this is a pretty big section for farms. I maybe kind of underestimated how big this was. Okay, all we should have to do is just remove these last few sandstone blocks, and then we should be good. As you can see though, that was about 20 stacks of sand, which means that's how much dirt we need to fill this back in. And taking a look inside of our starter house, I don't think I have nearly that much. Where's my dirt at? Yeah, my dirt's here. I have, not even 2 stacks, so we're gonna have to get some dirt from somewhere. Also, while we're in our house, let's grab a few of these diamonds that we got earlier, and let's just make ourselves a brand new pickaxe before I forget, since my current one right now is about to break. Okay, but with that sorted, let's get started on digging up some dirt, and I think the easiest thing to do is just going to be digging underneath of our existing terrain, as I don't really have anywhere else that we can gather up some dirt. And at least we have efficiency 4 on our shovel now, so this hopefully shouldn't take too long. Okay, that didn't take too terribly long, and I think I got all the dirt that we're going to need, so let's get this filled back in. Alrighty, the area is all filled in and looking good, and the next step is to add some water sources, so I think I'm just going to try to add as many as I can kind of underneath the wall, just so it's, hidden and looking a bit cleaner. This is going to be so many water sources though. This farm is absolutely massive, so this might take a few minutes. I have water sources going all the way around the perimeter, but we're also going to need some closer to the inside of the farm, so let's place those in next. There's a pretty good chance I'll have to adjust the placements of some of these, but for now, let's get them all patched up with some spruce slabs. And we can also patch back up the ones near the wall just using some dirt. But now that all the water sources are in place, let's use a hoe to turn the dirt into farmland. I'm not even kidding, that took 5 iron hoes to till the entire thing, but it's all good to go now. And these are all the seeds that I currently have in my hotbar right now, which is definitely not going to be enough to fill this entire thing in, but once it grows and we harvest it and everything, we can expand it and eventually get the entire thing filled in. And there we go, every single seed that I currently have is now planted. I'm really happy with how our crop field turned out, but I would like to accompany it with a small little farmhouse, and I went ahead and crafted all of the different items we're going to need, so you know what, let's just get straight to building. It's a super simple design just using granite walls and a deep slate roof, but I think it fits the area perfectly. And to give this cute little house a bit of functionality, I was thinking we could use it for seed storage, but first things first, let's just rip out this floor so we can place in a proper one. The floor is in place, and we don't really have a whole lot of room in here, so maybe let's just do a crafting table in the corner and a chest right beside that for storing our seeds, and that should be good. I also just added a small little pathway using dirt and coarse dirt to get it connected up to the dock, but with that, I think I'm pretty happy with this farmhouse. We do have a pretty decent amount of space right beside it though, so I was thinking we could make a small well, kind of ties into the farmland as well as the farmhouse, so I think it's a good spot for it. And I'm just going for one of my classic designs that I feel like I include in every single one of my worlds, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just gotta get the cover in place using some spruce stairs, get to the other side, do another row right here, and then we'll do a row of slabs and another one right on top. That's looking pretty good if I do say so myself, and I also went ahead and filled it in with some water. And then for one final touch, let's include a few flower pots just to kind of look like some jugs that could be used to transport the water around the island. I think that was a really nice decoration to include in this area, but I was noticing the rest of this sandy area is looking kind of basic, so maybe let's just scatter a few barrels around for a bit more decoration. I think it'll really help out. So let's maybe do a barrel right here, maybe another one right there, and then on top I'll just place a trapdoor just for a bit more detail. Nothing too revolutionary, but just having a few barrels scattered around the dock makes it feel a lot more detailed. And you know what? We can't have a dock without a boat, so I think it's finally time that we build one. I don't know why, but I had a really hard time coming up with a design that looked good only using spruce wood. You know, if we could just mix in like one other wood type into it, it'd probably look a lot better, but you know, that's part of the challenge and part of the fun. Alright turtles, what do you think? Do you approve of my boat design? Just give me any sign of life if you approve. Okay, whoa, wait, I'm speechless, they approve. Let's go, W boat design. Okay, jokes aside, we can probably make the dock look a little bit more detailed just by throwing some of the regular boats around, if I can actually do this. Yeah, okay, we'll do one right there. Maybe another one at the end of the dock on this side as well. Oh, why is it so hard to place these? Okay, there we go, boat. Okay, come on, don't embarrass me, game. Let me place this correctly the first time. Let's go! Third time's the charm. While we've been busy building, it looks like our crops had time to grow, so let's do our first big harvest. After replanting, I was able to get about half of the entire thing filled in, so we're slowly getting there. I want to build a ton of custom trees, which is going to require a lot of leaves, so I've set up all these kind of, areas on the beach where we can plant a bunch of the large spruce trees without any of our, nice dirt landscaped area turning into podzol. I don't know why this looks so weird. Oh wow, one just grew right there, but I was just saying I don't know why this looks so weird, but this should get us a lot of spruce leaves, plus, a lot of spruce wood as well. Okay, we're gonna need like a ton of shears to collect all of these leaves, so I think let's just grab an entire stack of iron and we can make the shears as we go. This right here is one of the bushier trees. Let's see how many leaves that we get. Okay, that first tree has been totally cut down, all the leaves have been collected, and we got, oh wow, like 4.5 stacks? That's actually pretty good. But as you can see, a bunch of the other trees have already grown, so let's lock in, get to work, and collect a bunch of leaves. Hang on, I just had an idea that should make this whole process a lot easier. Let's do a quick enchant on our axe, just having some efficiency on it should make this whole process go by way smoother. And with a better axe in hand, I spent the next 3 days gathering leaves and chopping all the trees down. And now that we had a ton of leaves, I got straight to work building up an entire custom forest. I went with fairly basic trees, but I mixed large and small ones together to make it look more natural. While building the forest, our crops had a chance to grow, so I took a minute to harvest everything again and expand the farm. And this time I ended up having enough seeds to get the entirety of the farm filled in. In fact, I got so many seeds that I made use of the farmhouse we built to store the extras. The next thing I wanted to get started on was building some pathways, and since we had just gathered a bunch of wheat from the farm, I figured I'd start by making some packed mud. In order to craft it though, I also needed some mud, so I used a water bottle on some dirt to make some. And with a good amount of both wheat and mud gathered up, I crafted the packed mud. Another block I needed for the pathways was granite, so I took a trip underground again and mined up several stacks of this stuff. While I was down here, I also wanted to grab some gravel for coarse dirt, but I remembered that our shovel has Fortune 3 on it, meaning if we try to dig it up, we're only going to get flint, not gravel. So I went back up to the surface, crafted a new diamond shovel and enchanted it, but of course I got Fortune on the new one too. Still determined, I put it through a grindstone and enchanted it again, got efficiency 3 this time, which is good enough, so back underground again, I started digging up all the patches of gravel that I could get my hands on. And after getting around 7 stacks, I headed back to the surface. And since I also needed some regular dirt for crafting the coarse dirt, I killed 2 birds with 1 stone by digging out the spots where I wanted the paths to go. Once the areas were all cleared out, I crafted the coarse dirt, and I also used some of the granite we got earlier to make some slabs. But with that, I was pretty confident I had everything I needed to build the pathways, so I wasted no time and got them all placed in. While I was at it, I couldn't help myself, so I built a few more boulders to improve the overall look of the island. We still had a pretty big open sandy area that I thought could be perfect for a sugarcane farm, so I started by planning out where I wanted all the sugarcane to go using some dirt. Once I was happy with the layout, I began digging out holes for the water sources. And after getting the actual water in place, I removed all of the temporary dirt blocks. And with those gone, I was finally able to plant all of the sugarcane. For a super clean look, I hid all of the water sources using sandstone slabs, which blend into the surrounding sand perfectly. And with that, our sugarcane farm is done. I can't help but feel like our island is still a little bit empty, so let's build a few more houses to get it filled out. We just need a few materials before we can build them though, so first up, I went back to the geode we found all the way back on day 1 and mined up some calcite. After that, I grabbed a couple of stacks of diorite, and then deeper underground, I picked up several stacks of deep slate. Using those materials, plus a bunch of items I had stored inside of our house, I spent 3 entire days crafting all of the different items we're going to need to build 4 brand new houses. And to make my life a little bit easier, I sorted the items I'll need for each house in a different chest where I plan to build them. But I guess now that we have all the materials sorted and ready to go, let's get to placing down some blocks. One of the toughest but most fun parts about this challenge has been trying to come up with unique designs despite having such a limited amount of blocks at our disposal. I think this limitation definitely made me think outside of the box for these designs though, as I still wanted all of the houses to be different yet matching in a way so that the entire island looks cohesive. Holy guacamole, I cannot believe it is already day 97. I feel like there's still so many little details that I want to add, and first things first, let's grab some of this moss and a bunch of these bones as well. And then let's turn a few of these bones into bone meal. Okay, awesome, and now that we have that, let's head down into the quarry and use this moss and bone meal to generate some azaleas, which I think could be an awesome decoration for the island. And I'm pretty sure the fastest way to gather this stuff up is just with a hoe, so this shouldn't take too long. Alrighty, just like that, I have, 12 regular azaleas and 10 of the flowering ones, which should be good. Back up at the surface, I think a few kind of in front of our house could look pretty good. And let's maybe do a few by the crane here as well. I think this is a pretty good spot. And this area in front of the barn is looking pretty empty still, so maybe we do a few here as well. And maybe a couple on top of the hill near our gazebo, why not? Okay, you know what? I still have a ton of bones left, so I think let's just go ahead and turn all of this into bone meal, and then we can use this to fill out any kind of remaining empty sections. I'll probably get rid of most of the tall grass, but I think this will just help the area look a lot more natural. And the awesome thing is we should get some flowers as well, so we can plant these back down and make some flower patches too. So for example, maybe we do a little patch of poppies beside the gazebo here. I think that could look pretty good. And maybe in front of the barn, we do a little patch of dandelions, could probably look pretty good. And I think these are the only 2 flower types that we can get on the island, but you know what? I'll take what we can get. But anyway, let's just continue kind of spamming bone meal all over the place, getting a ton of flowers and grass all throughout the area to make the entire island feel a lot lusher. I just had a totally awesome idea. I should have a bunch of leaves left over. Okay, yeah, I do. Let's maybe grab 2 stacks. And then I think I should still have some coal left. Okay, I have a little bit. But anyway, let's throw this into some furnaces. We can get some leaf litter, and we can also use that as some decoration. But while we're waiting, let's continue spamming bone meal all over the place. Can even add a bit of the short grass down in the quarry, why not? Give this side a bit of love as well. And let's even add some at the very bottom. It'd probably look good if we even add a little bit of the grass right on the pathway too. Can't forget to add more flower patches as well. I'm kind of feeling a patch of dandelions over here. Okay, let's see, is our leaf litter ready? Kind of. I'll just take it, I guess. We're kind of running out of time. And I think the obvious spot for these is underneath of our custom trees, so let's spam these all throughout the forest. And I think it could also look cool if we maybe dot a little bit along the edge of the path where the sand is, just to kind of blend the line between the sand and the pathway. Don't really have a whole lot, so we'll have to do it pretty sparingly, but just a little bit should go a long way. Could also probably work for the dock. Like you can see how harsh this edge is here, but if we do a bit of the leaf litter, just kind of blends it out a bit. I also have a bunch of ferns that I collected when I was doing all the terraforming earlier, so let's dot a few of these around the area as well. Let's maybe do like a couple right here. This area right here is still looking pretty empty, so maybe let's do a few here as well. As you can see though, the sun is already setting on this day 99, so I think it's about time that we tour everything that we built on the island. And I turned on the shaders just so we can kind of, see everything in its full glory, but I'm really excited to take a look at all of these builds. And I think let's just start down at this end. We of course have this little farmhouse that we made, and inside, kind of basic, but we do have all of our seeds in here. Right beside our farmhouse, we have this little well design, plus more decorations like these barrels, and of course our super awesome boat design. I'm not sure if I totally like this boat. It could probably be a little bit better, but you know what? I did the best that I could. Plus, I think the turtles approve, so I shouldn't be too hard on myself. But further along the dock, we have these couple of houses. I really like this one with kind of the moss at the bottom, kind of working into the tough blocks. And then this roof is pretty interesting. I'm not really sure if I've ever tried this before, but I did like a spruce trim with diorite in the middle, but I think it looks pretty good, honestly. And then right next to that, we have another house. You know, this one's also pretty cool. Has a little balcony here, a bit of hay, you know, just being stored underneath it. And yeah, pretty nice. Kind of ran out of time to, oh my goodness, there's creepers in there. Okay, just, okay, I just wanted to light it up in there, but, okay. Jeez. Okay, let's just ignore that and continue our tour. We, of course, have our starter house here. This thing was super fun to just throw together really early on, but I think it honestly turned out pretty cool. Probably should have decorated the inside a little bit better, but you know, it was super functional in here, just had like everything we needed right on this wall, our bed in the corner, and you know, displaying our little banner collection. Something else that I think turned out pretty fun was this quarry. Believe it or not, I've never made one before, but you know, we have our little crane design kind of overhanging these two different levels, and you know, a bunch of ores kind of scattered around and everything. Really cool. Okay, further along the pathway, we have yet more docks, and then right beside that, we have our barn. I think this barn turned out pretty cool. It's a bit bigger than the barns that I usually build, but I think that's a good thing as the cows have quite a bit of space to roam around. And then right beside our barn, at the very end of this pathway, we have yet another house. This one's, you know, pretty simple, but I like the stone facade, and then I just tried to, you know, add little details like these trapdoors and barrels and stuff, just to break it up a little bit. And then right behind that house on the beach is our sugarcane farm. I really like how this thing turned out. You know, it's pretty basic, but it's super satisfying having the water sources hidden, just looks super clean. And then we of course have this entire custom forest that we made. Such a vibe walking through here, especially with the shaders. Really happy with how this turned out. And on top of this hill, kind of right in the center of our island, is our enchanting gazebo, and I'm pretty sure this is my favorite build on the entire island. Kinda went for a build style that I've never really tried before, but it's super cozy in here. Oh man, it's even starting to rain right now, extra cozy. But right beside that, we have another house. This one's, you know, pretty basic, but I did include a couple of windows in the roof there just to make it a bit more interesting. And the sun is already beginning to set, but we have just one more build over here, and that's our giant crop field, which I think turned out pretty nice. But before a bunch of scary mobs start spawning, let's take a little sleep, and with that, we've survived all 100 days. This was such a fun challenge though, and if you want to explore this world for yourself, you can get the world download on my Patreon or by becoming a member on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, happy building, and I'll see you all in the next one.